So here I am in the gym parking lot. I got here first. I beat him. He's the man pulling in. Someone's a slowpoke today. So as you can see, the gym parking lot is pretty empty today. Friday afternoon, nobody wants to train. Except us, hardcore people are here.
It's always the same crew every Friday.
Yeah, it's pretty empty here.
Luckily, this is the one like you can be here so I can film.
You are lucky to have me.
On a bunch of different levels. Today we'll do some gym filming. Where's my bag? Oh shit.
Did you forget it?
No, it's in the trunk.
What are you training today?
Today's shoulders, bis and tris. And
I have to train back. You want to trade? Like,
no, I did back,
I'd rather do shoulders.
Back.
I hate training back.
No, but we got 4 or 5 weeks till the Olympia now.
I think 5.
Right, so I decided, like, since I was feeling good and I took the time to like recover a little bit, I was like, why not push it a little bit and try to get a little bit bigger for the Olympia? Because we're not just going to the Isotori booth this year. We're going to be at 5% Nutrition with Piana. He's fucking big. I mean, he's really big.
You don't want to look small next to that guy.
I'm gonna look small next to him because he's really
well,
big.
everyone looks small next to
like,
him.
I gotta look as little, small, scrawny as possible. I can look as big as possible so I don't get, well, I'm still gonna get lost. There's still a bunch of big people that are big guys that are gonna be there hanging out, so.
You know what the coolest thing is? The bigger you get, the smaller I look, and that makes me happy.
Maybe we can get you to shrink up like 50 pounds. I'll look gigantic.
Dude, I would
You'd be like
dead.
70 pounds.
I know.
You look extra big.
You just called me fat.
No. Just today.
Those are some big ass weights.
Those are hundreds. So this is like a go-to exercise that I use when I'm in like a mass building phase, which you should always be in a mass building phase. If you're not gaining, you're at least trying to maintain, which is the same thing as you do the same thing as to maintain as you do as you gain. But I do a one-arm lateral raise with both hands holding the dumbbells, not holding onto something, actually holding the dumbbell itself, doing one arm at a time. You notice I don't go all the way up, and I come all the way down to about here. From here to here, there's really no tension on the dumbbell. From here to here is where all the tension is. Now this is isolation movement, which is the lateral raise, but I turn it into a compound exercise. Trap, brachialis, form, all that is getting worked at the same time. So before the form police comes in, this is not an isolation exercise trying to isolate the side delt. This thing hits the whole delt, the trap, and people always ask all the time, dude, what do you do for your traps? What do you do shrugs? I mean, yes, I've done shrugs throughout the years, but I've done exercises like this that compound the trap into it also for all those years too, and I have better traps. So for those people that say, well, you should isolate, those guys, you don't usually have good trap and shoulder development, and I usually do. So I mean, you know, it is what it is. So I'm sure the form police will have something to say about it. But
I'm the form police.
You are the form police? All right. Those really do hit that whole area like that. So right now I'm about 243, up about 5 pounds since last week, and I don't know where I'll top out. We'll see. I haven't been training. I haven't been feeling this good. I've been training this heavy in a long time. So.
Last time you said that, something
bad
happened.
Yeah, I was on that bench right there. Yep. Matter of fact, the bench behind you is when Greg was benching over there, and I was feeling good, and then pop goes the weasel.
Pop goes the peg.
Now we're done with delts. 3 sets of those one-arm laterals to failure. Went up to 100, and that's it. I mean, the delts don't need anymore. So I'll move on to traps because they're already warm. And what I do is, on the trap exercise, which is just dumbbell shrugs, to keep from going too heavy, I use the technique that I learned from John Meadows a while ago called the stretch overload position. So now when you rest in the bottom part and you stretch your traps, you actually go into the stretch and that's the rest. The rest is actually with the dumbbells attached to your hands, so you're not actually resting between sets. So it's like 3 sets within a set, although I count it as 1 set. So technically it's 3 sets within a set. Of course, we want to strap in because if I don't, I'll drop on my feet. All right. Your chin down. Now on the stretch. And that's where the rest is. Stretch. You can see it hit total muscular failure within that 1 set. Once those fibers are fired, so the muscle stops moving, that's it. Growth is induced at that point. The trigger's on, the switch is on. It's time to move on. Alright, now we're going to move on to biceps. So like I told you guys before, I keep getting people asking, Jerry, can you do some gym videos? Jerry, can you do some workout videos? My split doesn't change, it stays the same. I do each body part once a week with 3 sets. It's on a 3-day split. Sometimes they'll rotate where each body part will get once or twice a week. It rotates and it changes, but it's still shoulders, biceps, tris, traps, still back and chest, and still legs on the other day. So but my leg workouts, of course, are very nonchalant. They're like the 20-minute leg workout now, which I told you guys about. So sometimes I do isolation work. I've been doing that for a little bit, probably like the last 2 or 3 months. So it's back to going heavy again. Again, as long as I'm feeling good. I do get tendonitis in both forearms sometimes. It's feeling good for now, so we'll do hammer curls for now, which I feel like the hammer curl actually helps my arm thicken up a lot better than like a regular concentration curl. But
why?
The weight that I can use is more weight, and even though accessory muscles come into play, the bicep is still pulling more of a load than I would if you're doing an isolation movement. Good question though, because I had the question of why too. I said, why is this working better for me like this? It's always been like that though. If I train heavier, I get a better overall, thicker look to my physique. If I train with isolations, I maintain my body weight but don't have that dense look. It's kind of strange. I guess the heavier the weight, the denser the muscle looks, even if you're fat. So, all right, up. Up. I don't count reps, I just go until the muscle fails. Oh, 3rd set of those. My biceps are done. So you can see they stay about the same size, about 19.5 all the time. Unless I'm really getting fat, then they're like 19.75. But
You sure that's not extra muscle?
yeah, well, I call it extra muscle. I think, what's his name? Nick Wright calls it fluffy. Extra fluffy. Your workout right now?
Yes.
Instead of standing around?
Whatever.
Good. No, I wasn't. No. Next exercise for triceps, well, the only exercise for triceps, 1 arm cable pushdowns. I do everything with 1 arm now. I actually have a weaker side. Everybody has a weaker side. So when you're doing stuff with a bar, it's actually tore my pec. I have an injury in this shoulder that was from wrestling. And as you bench with a straight bar, what happens is more force goes on one side, which actually loads the bar differently on each pec, and that's how I wound up tearing this pec. So same thing with triceps. If you're doing any kind of pressing movement or anything like that, you can actually load one side more than the other, even though it's even on the bar, and wind up getting an injury. So a lot of times you'll see me doing stuff, it's just 1 arm stuff now. So again, though, usually don't count reps because 1 arm is going to feel faster than the other one. I'll do 1 arm. You'll notice that I stabilize it with this hand to keep it from moving back and forth. So I want the force of this tricep. I want the stabilization with both hands. So we'll start out with the 110. All right, so stabilization's here, and we press. I do feel that in my elbows too, even though it's one arm, it's a cable, which once that muscle starts to contract and starts to fail, it puts a hell of a lot of pressure on your elbow tendons. You'll even feel it in your shoulders anytime you train with fists. That's why you gotta be smart not to do this beyond failure training stuff, where it's like positive failure, negative failure, static failure, force reps, all the drops, all these things not only tax your central nervous system, they put a big ass whooping on your joints too, trust me. At 38, I wish I went back now. Actually, you know what? I do all this shit exactly the same if I went back now, but you know, I wish I had saved my joints a little bit because they're starting to really bother me now. So, that's it. I got my boy Brooks waiting to train over there, so I'm gonna go train him. That's it. Back in the gym, getting ready for the Olympia. We'll see you guys 4 weeks. See you, Gene. 4 weeks. Isotory booth, 5% nutrition booth, biceps of the Olympia. And we're out.